trying a new recipe today. It's called Asian Inspired Nachos. It's from eMeals. So again, what I'm loving about this is I did it for a family. I realized they're sending me stuff for a family of 6. So again, needing to learn how to adjust what each of these prepped meals or shopped meals for you are asking for. I did figure out that if you have something that you already have in the fridge, you can take it off the list. So that was kind of nice. But anyway, we're going to be using pork. I'm going to be cutting up wonton wraps. It's going to be edamame, some carrots, sesame seeds, some soy sauce, and some sesame sauce. So pretty quick and easy. Hoping it's going to be flavorful. I'm going to go ahead and start cutting the wonton wraps now. This afternoon I spent my time working on a Substack post because I've started writing for Substack, kind of along putting basically long-term or long-form writing content onto Substack and talking more about some expertise, my expertise as a Montessori teacher. So I am excited about that. I've been doing that once a week. It's like week number 5 now. So I'll put the notes down below in the comments if you would like to go over and check that out. It is free. But I was doing that, and then I was also thinking about what I'm going to do for Chinese New Year, which is February 16th, and also trying to come up with a new, can I get this open, with a new idea for how to teach living and non-living, because as I mentioned, it's a startup school, so I did give this lesson towards the beginning of the year, but I have since acquired 5 students that have not had the lesson at all. So I want to use this as an opportunity to not only give the lesson again, but give a refresher to everyone. And I want to do it first with 3-part cards and a story, and then I also want to use actual objects in the room where they can discuss whether it's living or non-living. So pretty excited about sharing that. This week coming up is Valentine's Day. Our school does not celebrate any holidays, and so what we're doing again for this holiday is there is a one of my coworkers. She is really good about coming up with events, and she created an idea. Maybe she saw it on Pinterest, but modified it for our classroom for doing a kindness week. And so we are watching for children who are showing acts of kindness in the classroom to one another. And then if they do that, we acknowledge it at the end of the day. And then as they leave, we give them a ribbon. We're going to tie it onto the fence that's at the front of our school. And then by the end of the week, we hope that there's going to be just a beautiful arrangement of ribbons just representing the kindness from our school. So it's a very sweet activity, and I think they will really be excited and get into it. And their families will get the ribbon, and then as they leave for the day, they go ahead and put it on the fence. So of course, we're all going to make it a point that we're going to at least give a ribbon to each child. But, actually being very conscientious about it, not necessarily just giving it to you, and you haven't really done anything, like really showing kindness, and it helps them develop that kindness skill as well. So that's what's going on this week, and then the following week will be when we do Chinese New Year. Also, we have one birthday in February, so we'll be doing a celebration of life. So that should be fun. So we have quite a few things to look forward to. And I believe President's Day we have off, so we have another 4-day week coming up, which is very awesome. Yeah, like I said, this weekend, because I was able to knock out 10 out of the 20 of the growth summary reports, including the narratives for it, for parent-teacher conference that's actually the following week. It really feels like, okay, I've gotten a little bit ahead, so I'm very excited to at least have the kinder bound done, and I can just slowly work on it as time is given at work for me to do the other 10 children in the class. So again, this has been a nice weekend so far. I had a conversation with my 20-year-old, probably my daughter, spent about an hour and a half just like chatting about different things, so that was very nice. So I would say after the initial start where I got, I just needed to get that done. Again, I told you about my situational high blood pressure. I could definitely feel my heart pumping this morning because I just wanted to get half of them done so I could feel that weight off of me. And, because this is our very first time using this type of system, I wanted to really get in there and see like what it's going to actually generate. And I really do think it's going to be a great, encouraging report for the families, and I'm really excited to roll it out to them. All right, let me get focused because the oven is preheated, so I need to get on with this meal. All right, so I had to make a mad dash because the recipe called for me to take frozen edamame and deshell it. Do you know how easy it is to deshell frozen edamame? Actually, not at all. So here's that. I microwaved it for a little bit first. Here's what wontons look like. The first few were like completely burnt. So at least I've figured it out now. So thankfully they gave us enough for me to redo. I'm going to put it together. Well, I'm back to paint those air dry clay figurines that I started. Well, I guess I can gauge it from the day off that I had was on a Friday, and it is now the following Sunday. So it has taken me 9 days to get back to painting. And a couple things, I think that's helped me finally get back to the painting is number one, I had them sitting on my table. I was like, I'm just going to keep looking at them until I make the time to paint. These are brand new paints, by the way, and I just don't want to fuss around with the wrapper that's on it, because again, every little obstacle that comes up, at least for me, I don't know about you, causes me to not want to sit down and do creative things. So I try to take as much barrier as I can out of it so that I can do what I know I need to do, which is enjoy the painting process. So just got 3 different colors here. I thought I had a mustard yellow, but I see that I don't. But this morning I decided I wanted to paint these figurines, and I have signed up at my local gym for a yoga class that starts in about 45 minutes. And again, I have to be so incredibly intentional about it because I haven't spent much time cleaning my house. These are Crazy Art paint brushes. And sometimes you just have to choose. Some people really enjoy, cleaning their house, and that is a healthy part of their process for, getting their house clean, but also resetting their mind. But that is not my story. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to get my yoga mat and drive to my local gym. I don't know about you, and if you have a gym membership. This is a fairly reasonable gym. I live here in Arizona, so there is a lot of competition around gym membership. So you can get a gym membership here for as low as $9.99. I know, and you can cancel it anytime. And I say this because, as I've mentioned in other videos, about a year ago I lived in Ohio, and there was a franchise there called Planet Fitness, which is here as well. ironically, there was a Planet Fitness like right down the street from the townhouses that we were renting, and they had closed it down and put in a Wendy's. So that tells you something. The gym rat scene is not necessarily in Ohio, but anyway. So they had that, but it was about 30 minutes away. So you have to be very intentional about wanting to go to the gym. And then it was 30 minutes away and 30 minutes, from there and then home. And that was 30 minutes from the place I worked. And when it was rain or snow days, yeah, you're not going to the gym. So and of course, if you ever try to get out of your house when it's like really cold on the weekends and the destination is a gym, maybe not going to happen. So again, lots of obstacles in that. But I say all that to say is we did have a couple of places in town. We had a YMCA. That one was about $60. And the amenities were decent. They didn't have really any great group exercise classes. And then there was another place that literally was like the size of like a standard living room. And they were asking $75 a month. It was quite insane. Anyway, so I have the gym membership, and they have an app, and you can sign up for a class 24 hours. You can look pretty much at any location, so whether it be near my work or near my house, and you can sign up, and then you've got a spot that's secured when you go. So that's kind of nice. The other part of it is you've got to pay attention because they do fill up fast. And unfortunately, they don't really have a lot of yoga classes. So I think my next step, once I kind of get back into it, is to look at a yoga studio that I can go to that might be near my work, and I can go there straight from work. And I did find one. It happens to be right next door to my dentist office that I found that is 5 minutes from work. So all of it seems to be slowly coming together. And I think it really comes down to like setting that intention, and then it's just a lot of roadblocks. There's a lot of resistance to wanting to have self-care. I don't really have any explanation for it. We talk about it all the time. We think children need more playtime, and yet we don't offer anything like that to ourselves. So, I don't know, go figure. All right, I'm just going to finish this up quietly and then get on about my day. Now, as being an art teacher, I can tell you first coats for me feel like a disaster. I never like how they come out. The key, pro tip, is to definitely let it dry and come back. And then do your modifications. Because the way it dries looks quite different from it sitting here wet. See that I have these little fingerless gloves on. So one of my side businesses way back in the day is I used to make fingerless gloves. I used to crochet them. And then I got this fun little hack where I would take socks and just cut out the heel and then cut the top and just put little decals on it. And guess what? They're just as cute. And you can make them for about, what, $2? So, and it just makes me feel very artistic when I'm painting. I showed you in one of my videos that I did an art project with the children on the artist Jim Dine, and if you check him out, you'll see he does lots of like everyday item paintings, paint brushes, and one of a robe. Very, very cool stuff. Very easy entry for kids who can see, oh, you know, it's not just about like the subject matter, but it's about the feeling you put into the painting that people can experience. So I did that with them, and then I was thinking also about Romeo Brito. He's another one that does a lot of things with the theme of love, so I might add that one into as kind of a bonus on Valentine's Day to do with them. The other one I found was, it was cutting out a heart and then having them draw their family using like Sharpies, and then they paint over it with watercolor paint, and then they string some beads, and it's like a little hanging. So I might do that as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to go with the Sharpie route. Maybe I'll just have them draw their family on like construction paper or something, and then just have them, you know, add the beads. I think that might be a cute thing for them to string the beads and put them on there. So I just got to kind of flesh that out in my mind. I got to get it done by Thursday, because Friday I have taken the day off. See, I told you I'm really getting into the self-care thing. Nothing really planned except to take the day off. And unfortunately, at the movie theaters right now, there really isn't much to watch, so, you know, it's fine. I will find something to do, or just take a book to a coffee shop and read. Either way, this, I think I mentioned that I'm really trying to make it so that I use my time, my PTO, where I have 4-day weeks, as many times as I can make it happen. And I am so glad that I'm doing that. All right, I'm not going to futz with this too much more. I'm going to let it dry and get ready to go to my yoga class. Yeah, it's kind of weird to come out as bright as day. When I came, it was like, oh, dark 30, as they say. And, you know, just come out from an hour of like breathing and stretching and just go, oh, all right, back to the day, back to the loud music. But I've been trying to get to a class since the beginning of 2026. Just couldn't seem to get myself there. And now I was going to go with my daughter. She woke up and she's like, I don't really feel like going. And I was like, well, I'm going. And it was different. It's not like you're usually when you do like gyms, you got it kind of hit or miss, because they do more programs as opposed to like your traditional like yogi. So I guess their whole program is like Les Mills. And so they're like reformatted it. And so it was mostly, sorry, I'm trying not to drop my water bottle. Mostly about breathing. And, you know, thankfully she was one that says, you know, she had done, I guess she did it last week, and she got some feedback like nobody wants to do an hour of breathing, although I'm sure we all need it. So she did incorporate some stretching in it, and a little bit of like generic Tai Chi. But it was really, really good, really needed, really necessary. So now I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna take my daughter to this place in town. It's called Mocha and Company. It's really good. It's it has like Middle Eastern coffee, but then they also have these different brands of like, or different flavors of milk cake that's really divine. And I give myself permission to have cake at breakfast for this reason, once a week. And I didn't go this week. My sister and I usually go once a week, but because we went and saw Alvin Ailey and did all our talking then, you know, we have a good relationship, but we don't have enough talk to do 2 days together. So we didn't end up going. So then it was like, okay, kind of want to share with my daughter. She's, 20 years old, trying to look into getting her first credit card, do her taxes for the first year, which, by the way, fun fact, the 1040 EZ is no longer available. I mean, come on, you guys. Everybody's on the 1040 now. Even people, children or young people who just have one job and literally own nothing also have to do the 1040. Oh my gosh. So anyway, I'm going to teach her how to do that. I'm going to teach her how to, you know, apply for a credit card. I'm gonna show her how to set her dentist appointment through the portal, and it's also a doctor's appointment. And then we're gonna check her student loan status to make sure she is in compliance and when her first payment is due. So lots of like grownish stuff that we're gonna do. So, you know, it's nice to have a little bit of cake as we go through the realities of being grown up. All right, I'll check back in with you on the next one. First string, third finger, third fret. It says make the C chord shape with your left hand. Push down gently on the string and hold the chord shape. Strum when you see the C and sing or speak the words to the song while you play. C, 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 left arm, C, chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, left arm, C, chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Says the fingertips on your left hand might start to get sore or even get calluses. It's okay if that happens. Always feel free to take a break from practicing for a few days. finger on the dot to make a C chord shape. Your finger will be in between the second and third fret, not on the fret. Fourth string. Fourth string, second finger, second fret, second string, first finger, first fret. Well, this right here, as I'm looking through this accordion file, is where some real gold actually happens. I think I mentioned it earlier in this video that we had this week of kindness that we were going to do. And I ended up finding out that we had to give a ribbon to every single child every single day. Because at some point they have done something kind. But, you know, again, my feeling on it is in order for it to be significant, it has to really be something that it's very thoughtful. It's not a mindless thing to be kind. And so, as you see, I am finding these cards. The first month of my time in the classroom, there is a lesson in Montessori called noticing, to notice something. And so I wanted to start the year off doing something that I was taught at another school, where what we were challenged to do is once a month, we would pick 2 children in our classroom and we would send them an email to their parents' email, but we would address it to their child and talk about things that they noticed, that I'd noticed in the classroom. And that really stuck with me. The children really loved it. And so I had checked with my 2 people that work in the classroom with me. And I said, I would like you to start writing down something you see significant about the children in the classroom. And so how many of us did it? That is right, just me. I'm the only one that did it. But I kept the cards because I took this time to notice something and I wanted to do something with it. So this is where I came up with the great idea that I'm going to keep those cards, and there's 20 children in the classroom, and each day I would highlight 4 children. So on top of everybody gets a ribbon, there would be 4 children that day that would take a special card with something that I've noticed. All right, so you saw me going through my great room area. Felt like a burst of energy, so I was gonna go and get my and start like organizing, you know, all the things that I've been creating and purchasing and using in the classroom from September to, it is now February. Well, actually we started in August, so August, September, October, November, December, January. Gosh, we've been living in that space for at least 6 good months now, and it was a lot because I was just like putting it there, putting it there, and there was really no system to it because I was literally every single day acclimating based on what was going on in the classroom. Yeah, and so now that I'm not having to do that anymore because I've, you know, kind of figured out the rhythm of the children, with tweaks obviously, it is so amazing to now have like a little bit of breathing room. So went to yoga earlier today, and then I was going back and forth and doing my weight training today, but I think I'm going to do it tomorrow. I started prepping or organizing a little bit, look through like these different worksheets, because at the beginning, in order to kind of, you know, bring the children more into alignment of like this thought process of you're going to learn things while you're here, we would use worksheets. And so there were some worksheets that I kept back that I want to give for family conference. I think I mentioned that we do self-portraits every month, so looking at the self-portraits and organizing them for when I make them into an album and give them to them at the end of the year. So like really lots of good stuff. It felt really good to organize it. I did one of the e-meals, so it was like almost like what you'd get at Olive Garden. It was a Tuscan orzo soup, but it only called for like tomatoes, orzo, pasta, and then spinach. And so I did put some ground turkey in there. Oh my gosh, it was delightful. It was delightful. So that's very nice. I'm again very surprised at how I'm really enjoying it. But like all the chopping and the ingredients, like I think I mentioned on the one that I did for the trout cakes, where I was literally setting the timer because it was like, in 4 minutes do this, in 5 minutes do this, in 2 minutes do this. Now let it rest for 5 minutes. Then put it into the oven for 7 to 10. It was like, I will read the instructions more thoroughly before I make a choice on a meal next time. Lesson has been learned. So right now I'm going to go drop off some packages. I did get a sale over the weekend, which is very nice, and that's kind of got a funny story to it. So I will say that eBay, it's really, at least because of the way that I shop for the clothing that I sell, it's eBay is really like a race to the bottom sometimes, whereas Poshmark has a different clientele, and you really can get top dollar for it if you're patient, and if you share your items. And there was this one particular item, because sometimes I do go to Goodwill and see if I can, catch a sale on like, one of the tags where it's 50% off. And then because I'm a military spouse, I'll get an additional 25%. So that's actually really nice. Well, I found this beautiful, impeccable dress. I knew it was in great condition. I knew that it was, a little higher end. And so I had it both on Poshmark and eBay. And then I got an offer for like $9. Now, sometimes to kind of boost sales, I will just put a flat rate on shipping. And I knew this particular skirt, or a dress, it's a sweater dress, I knew it was going to be a FedEx flat rate, which is going to cost me at least $9 to send. Well, I had the shipping set at $8.99, and I was like, there's no way. No way. And so I got this kind of intuition where it's like, well, just share the, and then I countered with like 12, and they declined, and then an hour later they came back with 11, and I was like, all right, you have like 24 hours or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna share my whole closet. Again, if you want to know more about this, I will definitely go into detail. Share my whole closet on Poshmark, and if I get no interest or of an offer of any sort, then I'm going to just go ahead and accept the offer and send it out, because very much I want it to be like, you want to keep your store fresh. I haven't listed any of the items yet. They've been washed and prepped, but I have not listed them yet. So again, one of those things, if you're doing one thing, you're doing another thing, you've got to just pick and choose. And this weekend I've been more about like just having some like quality of life outside of my out of my classroom and my house, rather than just sitting there, just doing work at home. And so I did that, and in the morning I woke up to an offer for $22. And with Poshmark, it's the shipping is the shipping. They just send you a label. Doesn't matter. You can't use the USPS stuff, but as long as it's less than 5 pounds, it's a flat rate. Everybody pays it. You can discount the shipping to your customer if you want to give them like a $4.99 shipping, just to kind of boost the interest. But yeah, so I ended up selling that dress for $22. And plus the actual shipping amount. So again, lesson learned. Sometimes again, it is a business, and you've got to make strategic moves, and sometimes you make the right move and sometimes you don't, and that's kind of what it's all about, being patient sometimes, and other times just knowing what it is you have. That's probably a big thing. And because, like I said, I just listed this maybe 3 weeks ago, I was just like, I don't think I'm not going to rush it. I'm going to at least see if there's another opportunity for someone else to buy it. I have another story like that where, like, last week I put this, it was like a Pink Panther sweatshirt. So it like had the full Pink Panther, that character, and it was this gorgeous pink sweatshirt. Well, I got an offer at the same time on Poshmark and on eBay. On eBay, it was like $8, and on Poshmark, it was $19. It's like, and it was so funny because it's like, so of course I accepted the one on Poshmark, declined the other one, and then I took it off, so that I wouldn't get another offer from the person. And they're like, oh no, has it sold? Yes, it has. Next time, try not coming in like ridiculous. I mean, like I said, because my prices are pretty low on eBay, just because I just know that's the market over there for the things that I have. But sometimes I won't even say it's insulting. It's business. You can ask. I can say no. But there is another part of it. Like, if you really, really want something and it is a decent price, you should just buy it. That is all. Oh, really cool. There's some bonsai trees out there that somebody's selling. That's pretty cool. What a great idea. All right, so as I mentioned, I'm going to drop off something at USPS. I'm going to go to the library after that. What I usually do is, like, every 2 weeks I go and get fresh library books and change them out at school, so that, they have more interesting variety, and also, just this opportunity for them to know that there are these beautiful books at the library, and maybe to ask their family if they could get a library book. So, it's a win-win. All right, I will check back in later.